was younger, I saw my daddy cry and curse at the wind. He broke his own heart, and I watched as he tried to reassemble it. And my mama swore that she would never let herself forget. And that was the day that I promised I'd never sing of love if it does not exist. Darling, you are the only exception. 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 Maybe I felt somewhere deep in my soul that love never lasts, and we've got to find other ways to make it alone or keep a straight face. And I've always lived like this, keeping a comfortable distance. And up until now I have sworn to myself that I'm content with loneliness, because none of it was ever worth the risk. Well, you are the only exception. 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 I've got a tight grip on reality, but I can't let go of what's in front of me here. I know you'll be here in the morning when I wake up. Show me some kind of proof it's not a dream. Whoa, whoa. You are the only exception. 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 And I'm on my way to believing. Oh, and I'm on my way to believing.
Hello, and welcome to today's Sunday service meditation. Sit down or lay down in a comfortable position, allowing your body to settle into a relaxed state. Close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. Inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly. As you begin this meditation, focus your attention to your heart center. Today, we will focus on the importance of your spiritual glow. Envision yourself as an essential thread, weaving your unique pattern into the world. Just as a flower requires sunlight and nourishment to bloom, so too do you need to provide yourself with the support and care necessary for your own growth. Embrace the idea that taking care of yourself is not a selfish act, but a fundamental requirement for a fulfilling and purposeful life. Envision your inner garden aglow with the light of your self-awareness and self-compassion. As you water the soil of your own soul, allowing the rejuvenating rain of self-care to touch every aspect of your being, witness the spiritual glow intensify. This radiant energy is not a fleeting spark, but a sustained brilliance that blossoms from a harmonious connection with your true self. As you focus on your breath, invite this spiritual glow to expand and envelop you. Feel the warmth spreading through your body, dissolving any shadows of doubt or neglect. Understand that by nurturing your spiritual well-being, your glow becomes a beacon, attracting positivity and compassion into your life. Picture the cycle of abundance transforming into a spiritual cascade, where the energy you invest in your own spiritual growth becomes a transformative force that uplifts others. The glow emanating from your fulfilled needs creates a ripple effect, touching the hearts and souls of those you encounter. By embracing the spiritual radiance within, you contribute not only to your own ascension, but to the ascension of everyone as a consciousness. As you continue to breathe in and out, ground in the gentle glow of your spiritual essence. Recognize that by honoring your needs, you align with the divine rhythm of God, allowing your inner light to shine brightly. In this sacred space, you become a conduit for love, compassion, and positivity, fostering a sense of unity and harmony within and around you. Make a choice now to always listen to your needs, be that physical, emotional, or in spirit, and choose to always fulfill them to the best of your ability. When you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes, carrying with you the awareness of the spiritual glow you already have and own within, and your new made choice of always growing it. Thank you and namaste.
Hello, Tours of Union. My name is Christine, and I will be giving you this Sunday Services card reading. I am using the deck Whispers of Love by Angela Hartfield with artwork by Josephine Wall. It's one of my favorites, and let's get started. So our first card is Choose Love. We're starting very strong, and we have You always have a choice, make yours with love. So the message in this card is very clear. It's the essence of ascending. It's always about choosing love. And notice how nothing in this card is about being perfect or making like all the right choices. It's all about just choosing love and doing your best with whatever it is that you know in that moment. A lot of times we might focus on being perfect on our twin flame journey, on our path to ascension, and about doing things right, and we might stress a lot about that. But this week, this card reminds us that it's not about being perfect because God already sees you as perfect. And, even making mistakes, even messing up, that's part of the journey. It's part of ascension. So it's okay to just keep choosing love and keep moving forward without worrying about doing things perfectly. And also, the text in this card, you always have a choice. It's very important to remember that no matter what your situation right now, you always have a choice. Even if it looks like the external circumstances are impossible, as it often can, you are reminded this week that you always have a choice and your choice happens within. You can always choose to heal whatever block or upset is coming up in your reality, and that's how you can keep moving forward. It's not about trying to beat down the door, but about loving yourself and filling yourself with so much love that the universe has no choice but to bring you what it is that you desire to manifest. And our next card is Speak the language of love. That's so beautiful. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. So I feel like the message in this card has two sub messages. Yeah, it's about being verbally compassionate with others, about not judging our brother and sister, because they're going through their own struggles and their own challenges on their twin flame journey, on their ascension journey. So it's important not to judge people and to have compassion for pretty much everybody and the choices that they're making. And also, I feel like this card is about speaking with love to ourselves. Because we spoke about self judgment in the previous card, and I feel like this is the next piece here about how we shouldn't be rough on ourselves about not getting things right, or about not being there yet, or about not achieving certain results. It doesn't really help when we berate ourselves and put ourselves down. Instead, this card encourages us to speak the language of love, to be verbally compassionate, to offer verbal affection to ourselves, and to speak positively about ourselves, about the world, because that's also very important. How you speak about the world affects it because words have power. If you keep speaking of the world in negative terms, like there's no peace in the world, everything is horrible, then of course that's what you keep perpetuating because you put energy behind that. And words and thoughts, they have energy. So when you choose to focus instead on what's beautiful about the world, on all the love, all the divinity, that's what you bring your attention to, and that's what you manifest more of for both yourself and for others. And yeah, words have the power to create, so make sure that you are using your superpower as a divine child of God to create something beautiful for yourself and for others. And I feel like this card also encourages us to be more mindful about the way we speak about ourselves, the way we speak about others, because that's also very important. And we can find a lot of our limiting beliefs reflected in the way we speak about ourselves or about others. And for example, if you keep telling yourself that this challenge that I have ahead of me, I can never get over that, it will always be this way, that's what you're perpetuating. So you want to make sure that you heal in this place and you change the way you speak about those challenges because, yeah, God is more powerful than those challenges. It doesn't really matter what's going on right now. If you have even a mustard seed of faith, you can move mountains pretty much. So it's important to also acknowledge that. And our last card for this week is the Heart of the Matter. Very beautiful. There's more going on than what meets the eye. So, a beautiful closing card is a reminder that there's always more than what meets the eye on your spiritual journey. Yeah, you might see right now that there's a lot of challenges, life might be very hard, or it might look like your life is a mess. Sometimes this can happen on this journey. But it's important to remember that, like in the tarot, you have the Tower card, and everything is breaking down and falling apart, and it looks like it's the apocalypse. But after the Tower, we have the star, that is the symbol of hope. and rebirth. And in order to create something new and beautiful, you must tear down the old, because anything that is not in alignment with what you desire to manifest, it must go in order to make space for you to receive the new. So, whatever you're going through right now, if you're having some challenges, some troubles, that's what this card is urging you to remember, that you can put your faith in God. You can relax because God is taking care of things behind the scenes in ways you could not even imagine. And your biggest challenges are also the pathway to your biggest gifts. So don't be afraid of meeting the talents, facing the talents, and moving forward, because that's how you can receive even more love and even more gifts, by overcoming this, healing in this place. And it's God's promise to us as His children that our greatest weaknesses are going to become our greatest strengths as long as we walk with Him and we walk in faith. So, this was our reading for this Sunday service. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday service.
Hello everyone, I'm Neelam. I take the privilege today to invite our Minister of Union Lizzie to present today's Sunday sermon. This sermon is on the topic spiritual glow. This topic is so close to my heart because this is something that I have experienced in my life, that I lost my spiritual glow. There was this period in my life, approximately 5 years back, when I had created six pack abs, the abdomen that has those six biscuit kind abs. That took a lot from me to create that kind of a body. And I went on and on doing those hardcore gym workouts, doing all the fitness regimes, keeping myself devoid of uh, all the foods that I loved eating, and disciplining myself to the extent that it kind of got toxic for me because having that body was getting too much on my nerves. Like, I started believing that if I don't have that kind of a body, I'm not going to be looking good, or I'm not going to be looking good enough. And I need to reach there. There was this desperation energy, and a lot of anxiety was created in the whole process. Yeah, and I did create the six pack abs, and everything happened, and I got a lot of attention of people because in my country at that point of time, uh, since I was 45 years plus, and a female having that kind of a body isn't very common. And there was this newspaper coverage that I had, a magazine coverage, people interviewing me on the local TV channels, and people looking upon me and expecting me to compete on the stage for the bikini athlete competitions or the bodybuilder competitions, which of course I thankfully did not go into. I was like on the verge of, you can say, because I had created that kind of a body. But now that attention was feeling good to me. But one thing that I realized after watching Lizzie's sermon is that I wasn't happy. I wasn't at peace. I did not have any spiritual practice in my life. There was nothing about spirituality in my life which I was feeding into my system. There was just this race to create that body which I believed was admired by all. And yeah, and after watching Lisi's sermon, I realized that I wasn't happy, I wasn't joyful. Happiness was temporary because it was coming from what people said about me and what they believed about me, and the kind of fame I was getting. I was a fitness trainer myself, and I was into Reebok aerobics and into Zumba training and into uh, power yoga and so many other modalities. And I would even train women for strength training, help them create the kind of bodies they wanted. And all of that was giving me a high, but that high was very temporary. After watching the sermon, I realized that there was something I was losing other than the happiness in the whole process, and that was my glow. There were so many people who would even come up to me and say, "Are you okay? Is everything fine with you?" They would not notice that I have reduced that much of weight and all of that, or maybe they noticed, but what was more noticeable was how my face looked at that time. Where was the glow gone? Was something people wanted to know. Are you having any ailment? Are you depressed? Are you stressed about something? And they would tell me, a number of things about my skin sagging, and that I was losing the texture of my skin and my hair and all of that. And I was also pointed out on those things, which I did not pay much heed to till I realized that. Uh, Till I realized that after watching DC's sermon, the body that I have today is not a six-pack body, and but I have a lot of spiritual uh, growth today. I feel so spiritually aligned, so much more aligned with my body, mind, and soul than ever I have ever been. And I can feel that happiness and the joy coming from within, maybe not at all times, because I'm a human being. I'm working on myself every single day. But I believe that from there to now, if I compare myself, and I feel compelled to compare myself after watching this sermon, that yes, I'm a happier person, more joyful person, less dependent on what people say about me, and authentic person. I am not pretending to be anybody else or anything else, and that's feeling so much more good within. And that's why people tell me that now your face is fine, now you look good, your hair is shining, all of those compliments are coming. So beauty is not only about getting that perfect figure, is what I understood in this sermon and from my own life experience. Beauty is about a lot more, and most importantly, like Lisi will be stating in the sermon as you watch ahead, that it's about energy, the energy that you carry. And I believe that the energy that I carry now is so authentic and so so free and so aligned with God and love. And everybody can feel it and everybody can see it, and more than anybody I can feel it. So it's a much better place to be. And the whole sermon revolves around all of that, about how you can navigate that process of you not liking your body, to the place where you understand that it's all about energy. Looking good is all about energy. It's a balance of the body, mind, and soul, which I wasn't earlier knowing. It was all about the body, 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 and there was nothing about the mind and the soul that was being catered to. I was not only keeping myself devoid at that point of time of the foods that I loved, but also devoid of the things that I loved doing, like spending time with a friend, having a coffee or a piece of a cake, or spending time with my family, doing some kind of a ceremony or a function together, because I would have to eat over there, and that would not be in my diet schedule, and I would avoid it. So I kept myself devoid of other forms of happiness also. And yes, like I said, my spiritual growth was zero before joining the teachings of Union, and that was also something that I was keeping myself devoid of. So it was a complete suffering, like I see it from now, from where I am today. That point of time, I did look like a happy person. I did look like a famous. I mean, I was famous. I did look like somebody who had that amazing body, but I wasn't having the glow, and I wasn't fulfilled from within. So yeah, this is the whole sermon is like my own story. It's like my own life story. It's so close to my heart. And yeah, I invite you all to watch this sermon and take the great takeaways that Lisi is going to be giving in this sermon. And I'm sure it's going to resonate with all of us, because body shaming or not feeling enough physically by our appearance is something that we all go through at one point or the other in some stage of our life. Yeah, and so I invite you to visit unionism.org and show your love over there, donate over there, so that we can spread the teachings of union all around the world. And I'll meet you at the end of the sermon. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisi and I am honored to serve as your Minister of Union in today's Sunday service. Before we start, let's close our eyes and prepare for our opening ohms. You can say them aloud or in your heart. All right, and let's start with our opening prayer. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word. Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Amen. So I wanted to speak today about your spiritual glow. And what do I mean by that? So have you ever noticed when someone is speaking, or even when they post pictures, or they're commenting or posting on Facebook, and they just kind of have this like magnetism or this glow about them, and you just can't put a finger on it because it's not necessarily how they physically look. It's just some sort of magnetic pull to them. And the reason that they are this way, why there's that magnetism, is because they're being absolutely true to themselves. They're being all of who they are, and they're being and radiating themselves out into the world. They're glowing, right? You feel you've heard people say like, "Oh, you're glowing," right? It's not at all about what makeup you wear, what clothes you wear, how you style your hair. It has to do with something else, and that's what I want to talk about in this sermon. And a bit of news. So Divine Dish is now coming out with a new program called Divine Glow. So it's all about what we're going to be talking about today, your relationship with your physical body. It's how do you become the best version of yourself here on earth in the physical, right? Because as above, so below. So your body is an extension of you, and it's important to heal the relationship that you have with your body. I'm also going to be talking this summer at the Spiritual Life Summit in Michigan on your relationship with your divine body. So I've taken a journey with my body that I never expected to take. Since I was a young child, I didn't expect myself to have such a transformation with my body. And that's what I want to share that with you today and talk about that. So there's a lot out there in the world today that is there to kind of heal the relationship with the body, or at least that's the intention. But they're missing a piece, right? So what we see today, we see a lot of fad diets, a lot of fad exercise routines. You've got juicing, HIIT, exercising, keto, weight training, conditioning, avoiding certain foods. You have different diets that are out there. You have different eating programs that are out there. I've tried almost all of them at some point because I wasn't happy in my body. I always felt like I didn't have a good relationship with my body. I always felt like my body wasn't like listening to me when I wanted it to be a certain way. So there were a couple things happening. First, my expectations of my body were skewed. I was looking at what the world said my body should be like, and that is what I was trying to get to, right? Thin, slender, muscular, right? I was always trying to get to that place, and no matter how much I weighed, I was never satisfied with my body. I always felt like I was weighing too much. When I was healing from my cancer treatment, I hit menopause. I hit early menopause, and it was surgical menopause. That means that like hot flashes were like all the time, and I had no more estrogen in my body to speak of. And estrogen is a prime component in metabolism for women.
So that was gone. I also realized that I had a thyroid issue. And so I started taking thyroid medication, which decreased my metabolism, right? So I had a couple things, if you want to say, working against me if I was trying to be thin. But again, my whole expectation system was skewed because thin does not equal radiant. Thin does not equal beautiful. Thin doesn't necessarily make you glow. So then what does? So I was talking to my coach the other day, and I was telling her about something that I was experiencing in my life. I was experiencing people kind of like coming up and approaching me, and then stepping back. No thanks. Coming up. Hey, I want to connect. Oh, never mind. And I had the thought, and I'm not embarrassed to share this, but did have the thought. I'm like, what if it's because I gained weight and people are repulsed by my weight gain? I have gained weight, but there was something else going on. It wasn't that. Like, we all know, especially those of you who are watching this video, it's not about how you physically look, it's about your energy. Everything is energy, right? So I was talking to my coach, and she said, what are you eating? How many calories a day do you eat? And I'm like, well, probably like 14 to 1600. And she typed on her keyboard and looked up some numbers. She's like, that's too little. And I said, really? I've read these things online that says that if you want to lose weight, you got to be in calorie deficit. She's like, yeah, but tell me what you're eating. And I told her I was eating lunch and dinner. I was skipping breakfast to cut those calories out. She was like, nope, there it is. You're skipping breakfast, so your body's going into starvation mode, and it's like conserving calories and storing them as fat, right? So I knew that I did need to lose weight because my doctor said, hey, you need to be in a healthy range of weight so that you don't develop things like diabetes and other conditions like heart conditions, like weight gain is connected to those things. But how do you resolve it? Well, a lot of people are trying these diets that, crash and burn, right? You try these diets, you restrict your calories, you feel bad as you're doing them, and they just don't work. People fall off them all the time. Myself included. I tried that, doesn't work. And so my coach told me, hey, you need to eat 3 meals a day and eat breakfast, and you're actually not eating enough. You're starving yourself. I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about that because I didn't feel hungry. I felt like just not hungry. I didn't really feel appetized by food. I wasn't magnetized to nourishment, right? It's because I was telling myself a lie that I needed to stop nourishing myself to lose weight. Well, my body reacted and it had this belief that I was starving, and so it set aside some energy in the form of fat to feed me later, right? Your body's smart. You need to know that your body is highly intelligent because it was created by God. So it's doing what it's designed to do. And so instead of fighting my body, which is what I was experiencing, I decided to make a new choice and work with my body. And I looked at the Divine Dish menu, and it has very hearty breakfast, lunches, and dinners. And I gave myself permission to eat them. And as soon as I made that choice, I felt such relief. It was like a floodgate, like waters were raining on a desert, right? Like it felt like I had an aha moment that I wasn't eating or nourishing myself enough. And so that is what people sensed when I approached them. Oh, this person is needy. And I was like, I'm not needy. No, not me, But I was, because it was tied in with my relationship with food. As above, so below. And so it's not just about food. It's about nourishing yourself with all the nourishment you need, right? Food is just this example that I'm providing here. That's a very tangible example, and it's an ascension path in and of itself. That's why Jeff and Shaleia developed Divine Dish. I was also reading something that Jeff and Shaleia wrote on developing your perfect body. And all of these diet fads where you try to fix something on the outside, you try to manage something on the outside, they don't work because you're not addressing the root issue. My root issue in this case was that I wasn't nourishing myself enough. You don't maybe understand how much nourishment your soul needs, right? Your body and your soul, they're not separate. Your body needs a lot of nourishment, especially if you're doing inner work, especially if you are performing service for humanity, if you're an ascension coach, if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, if you're giving to humanity, you need nourishment. You need to be giving to yourself. You don't need to be spiritually anorexic, right? And so a lot of people think they underestimate how much they actually need of everything, including spiritual support. So it goes to spiritual support too. So I'm working in a business, and I was seeing myself kind of like flatline in my sales. And I was like, why? I'm working a lot. I'm doing so much. Why is my business flatlining? And that's because I wasn't nourishing myself enough. So here's another place. So I was watching maybe between 1 and 3 Twin Flame Ascension School and Life Purpose classes a week, right? That felt good to me, but there was something missing. And I realized, you know what? Like, maybe I need more support. And so I cranked it up to 1 a day. Oh, that was so much better. I didn't realize how much I needed, right, to nourish myself or to give to myself. And so I started watching more classes, and it shifted my whole energy, right? The classes that Jeff and Shaleia teach, Twin Flame Ascension School, Life Purpose class, the e-courses, their sermons here on the Church of Union channel, and then other manifestations of God like Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha. This is spiritual nourishment, and in the Christian faith, you call it like taking your daily bread. Reading the Bible to Christians is like giving yourself your daily bread, right? And so as a unionist, it's really important to nourish yourself with your daily spiritual bread. So food is included, but it's also spiritual guidance, spiritual revelation, right? Spiritual word, the word with a capital W. The word is your bread, right? So I started to watch more, and I started to notice how I felt calmer. I was able to connect with God more. I have watched all of the classes, but it's when you're dealing with spiritual revelation, just like with the Bible, you can read or watch the same thing again at a different place in your consciousness, and it's going to be telling you something totally different. It's going to hit you a different way. It's going to take you from where your new vibrational set point is to the next level, right? Because you're going to hear it at different levels as you ascend. And that's how it's designed. Like, that's why it's divine, right? Another area where I wasn't nourishing myself enough was in play. Right? I was working, but my tanks were empty. My play tank was empty. And so I started playing Nightmarecraft again. I started playing other video games again, not just Nightmarecraft, but a lot of other video games. And in Nightmarecraft, which is a Minecraft modification that was designed by Jeff and Shaleia and the Church of Union, Lorenzo and Alexandra developed this game with others as well, volunteers and developers. It was fun. I kicked the zombie lord's butt. I got to take my sword and slash his face over and over again, and I promise you that felt so good. Especially after the zombie lord had sent all these hordes of mobs my way trying to thwart me. And then I got to go to the palace, and I got to speak with Lau and Alex, and they gave me some special things, and then I was sent on my other mission. But I had to give that to myself because I highly really need play in my life. If I don't have play, It's like The Shining, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? Or whatever that was. I mean, my work is my play, but it's like I really require variance in my life. Like a lot of different areas of my life need attention, and yours too. So think about like, what is it for you that makes you come alive? What is it for you that nourishes you? Where do you feel deplete in something? So, another thing, that I really enjoy is I nerd out on different shows. I'm wearing a Star Trek shirt right now, for example, and I require that. It's part of my nourishment system. So, you are a complex being. You're not a simple cup of coffee. You're a divine being, and divine beings require many things, right? You require like full support and a full plate, right? I'm going to go back to divine dish and spiritual nourishment, and I want to just encourage you to let go of the way that the world teaches you to be healthy. There's science, right? Like if I ate 10 chocolate cakes a day, I probably wouldn't be healthy. But science does support the fact that when you starve yourself of food, you're going to stress your body about it, especially women, right? Women and men's bodies work differently. Women in different ages work differently. But when you starve yourself, you're going to increase your stress hormone, cortisol. That is going to decrease your metabolism, and you're not going to lose weight when you starve yourself, right? You might be able to, like a lot of people do something called intermittent fasting. I've tried it. It wasn't sustainable. Not at the level of work that I do, right? Because those of you who are serving humanity, you really require a lot of fuel. You really do. You really require a lot of fuel to support you and sustain you in service. And so maybe let go of some of these fad diets and try something different. Try Divine Dish. There's a free sample menu that you can follow. And it's a lot of food. That's the first thing that I saw. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of food. But as I started to like relax and eat the food, I started feeling better. I started working out more. And I actually started feeling my clothes fit a little different, like a little looser. And I felt different. My face felt different. I was, got clearer skin. And I just want to say, like, my feeling supported, feeling nourished, that was worth more than anything that, any way that I would look, right? I have always said, I'd rather be large and happy than thin and sad, right? And so I do want to go deeper with my relationship with my body and just kind of fine tune things. But I think that was the biggest breakthrough that I had, was allowing myself to be completely nourished in a way that felt good to me right now, right? In a way that was sustainable, and in a way that I could repeat and that felt good. And so one thing Jeff and Shaleia have taught in all of their work is you never have to suffer to heal. You never have to suffer to heal. You don't have to deprive yourself to heal. If you're depriving yourself in any way, that's not healing. That's compromising. You're trying to take from one place and give to another, rob Paul to pay Peter, so to speak. That doesn't work. So really allowing yourself to let go of these fad diets and just try things with your body that feel good. It has to feel good to you. Has to feel good to you. It doesn't feel good to you, it's not of God, right? Now, that's not to say like mixing up pleasant and good, right? If you think eating 10 chocolate cakes feels good, maybe you have a pleasant feeling for a temporary bit of time, but then later in the afternoon, you're probably going to get a stomach ache, right? So that doesn't, that's pleasant versus good. But I'm talking about nourishing yourself at a soul level in all places of your life is going to feel good to you in all areas, right? You don't need to overeat. Your body's not going to feel starving. You're not going to go through these like binge and gorge, binge and starve patterns, right? Divine Dish gives you a menu of what to eat when, and a shopping list, and prep. How do you cook all the food? In fact, Josh, my twin flame, got inspired to be a chef and go to culinary school by Divine Dish. Like, he started cooking the food and following the recipes, and that inspired him to go to culinary school. And he brings his culinary expertise home and applies it back into Divine Dish. So he just cooked us some really amazing Divine Dish street tacos. They were so good. You can prepare the food. It's very easy, very simple to cook for yourself in a way that supports you and nourishes your soul. You can. It's not hard. And you get the full support in how to do that with Divine Dish. I just really sing Divine Dish's praises because it really helped me to see just how much I needed. And food is such like a ubiquitous, tangible thing, right? There's many different places where you can apply the teachings of union. And some places, you might be working on a spiritual block over here, but you'll be able to see it better in something, in a different medium, right, over there. And that's kind of what this was for me. It was an eye-opening experience. So, to kind of summarize on some of the things I talked about, the main takeaway that I want you to receive here today is you require more. You require more nourishment. You require more, maybe more food, more play, more support. You're a divine being, and that means your consciousness, your beingness is vast. So don't skimp on yourself. Allow yourself to be supported. God's always going to come through and show you how that happens. And just really get to know your body, right? Don't be dogmatic about certain things. Maybe, for example, if you follow Divine Dish, you go through the menu, maybe you don't want to do the juice, right? That's fine. Don't be dogmatic about it. Just feel how your body responds. Have a relationship with your body. Listen to your body. If your body is telling you it's tired, find out why. Don't try to push through it, right? Listen to your body, and your body is intelligent. It's very intelligent. It has an intelligence of its own that God created. So listen to your body and give yourself what your body says it needs. And that goes for your whole soul. So let's go ahead and close with our closing prayer. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you. I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen. Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them, and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator. And now let's close our eyes for our 3 closing alms. You can say them out loud or in your heart. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you appreciated the sermon. Don't forget to visit unionism.org and claim your spot at the Spiritual Life Summit, and I'll see you there. And don't forget to check out Divine Dish and Divine Glow. See you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed the sermon. This was such a profound sermon. I'm sure you all had great takeaways because I'm sure at any point of time in life, you must have felt the need to have that perfect body or the certain kind of a body or certain kind of a shape to look good, to feel good, or to be liked by people or attract the people in your life. So, yes, so this is a sermon for all of us and it's so profound. I'm sure that you all enjoyed every bit of it. In this sermon, I like the way Lizzie talks about how much it is important to nourish our body, and our body has its own intelligence. Our body is talking to us, it's telling us what it needs and what it does not need, and we need to listen to it and respect it and nourish it the way it wants to be nourished. She talks so elaborately about just not nourishing the body but nourishing the mind and the soul. She talks about her own personal experience in the sermon, which I'm sure has touched everyone's heart. It's about her journey from the surgical menopause to being diagnosed with the thyroid levels being high, and her getting that lower estrogen levels and low metabolism and all of that happening in her life, and the pressure, I would say a pressure of her wanting to lose that weight to be thin and to be uh, to be perfect. So that all led to her actually not feeling fine, her actually having her sales fall flat also, because everything is interconnected, like she talks about in the sermon. It's the body, mind and soul all connected. So we nourish only one part and don't nourish the other part, they are definitely not going to be something good happening. Nothing good is going to be happening out of it. So she talks about how she nourished her mental body. It is about her starting to play games, and that's what she loves doing. She talked about, and doing what she loves doing made her happy and joyful, and that was the nourishment for her mental body. And her spiritual body, her soul body, she talks about is giving herself that daily bread, like mentioned in the Bible, that a daily dose of spirituality is something that we need, and that's the daily bread that she talks about. And that's what she started giving herself. She started working on herself, her spirituality, by listening to the classes more frequently, uh, you know uh, doing all the work that needs to be done, the inner work to be done to grow spiritually. So she gave herself the spiritual nourishment. She got deeper into the studies that was nourishing her spirituality, her spiritual body, her soul body. And that's what she talks about. And that's what is the whole takeaway about in the sermon, about the mind, body, and soul being nourished completely, so that you are actually happy and actually peaceful and actually glowing and actually radiant. So, like she mentions in the sermon, it's not about being thin, it's about being radiant, it's about being, uh, you know, uh, fit, it's about being um, glowing and radiant. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So it's about all of that. It's not only about being thin. So yeah, and I like the place where she talks about Jeff and Sheila mentioning that healing does not involve any suffering. We do not need to keep ourselves devoid of anything to heal. If we are keeping ourselves devoid of anything to heal, I mean any place to heal, if we keep ourselves devoid of anything, we are not healing. Because healing is about choosing love, it's about choosing peace, it's about choosing what you feel good doing. So it is not definitely something that we want to do in our lives. And yeah, I loved every bit of it. A Profound Peace by Lisi. And yeah, I invite you to visit unionism.org, show your love over there, donate over there, and you can watch our previous sermons there. Also, you can like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Twin Flames Universe YouTube channel. And you can not only watch the previous sermons there on the YouTube channel, you can also watch the after tea time discussions. These are the discussions done by the Union ministers at the Church of Union on the topics of the sermons. They all place their perspectives there. They all have group discussions there. And in case you want to be a part of the after tea time discussions, you can be a part of it by joining us on our Facebook page, and you can participate there. You can be a part, you can comment there, and you can actually contribute there as a community. Yeah, so thank you, Lisi, for this beautiful piece of sermon. Thank you all for joining us for today's Sunday sermon, and God bless you all. See you next week. Namaste.